Hello, everybody. Here we are. It's the Hudson listening session. And I am joined by the wonderful Charlie Van Kirk, Jeff Picker, Jefferson Hamer, all a bunch of brilliant guys who join me for the making of Way Out, I'll Wonder. So should we have a wee listen here?
Did you introduce yourself?
Oh, and I'm Hannah Reid. Hello.
Love when that bass comes in.
More of those noises, please. This is the one lyric on the record that you didn't write, is that correct?
This is correct. This is a Robert Louis Stevenson poem I set to music.
We did 2 sessions for this. This was in the first session, right? This was when we went up to Maine.
To
New Hampshire, yeah.
New Hampshire, sorry.
New Hampshire.
Yeah, the sessions were almost a year apart, actually.
Yeah, it was what, March 2017?
No.
16.
Earlier.
The first one was 16, and then the following January was the second session. Jefferson on backing vocals there. Gorgeous.
These were live, right? These vocals.
I think so. I also seem to remember there were some overdubs. You know,
Some of them
that
were
were
overdubs.
late
Some of
night
this one?
overdubs.
I can't remember this one. Charlie.
I'm trying to remember this one. I know Ringleader was definitely overdubbed. This one might have been live. This and Kempsey Ash, I think. I haven't opened the sessions in a while.
You haven't?
Funny, because I have some recommendations for the bass. If you want to open them. Just kidding.
The easiest way to tell the two sessions apart, the New Hampshire and the upstate New York, for me is the bass tone.
The bass tone?
Yeah.
I'm always improving.
No, it was that the room was more focused in New York. Andy's room had less crazy reflections, so it's a bit tighter sounding.
Gotcha.
You don't improve, Jeff. I think you're on like a pretty solid plateau for the past 5-10 years, right?
I like this part. Didn't we come up with this together?
Yeah, I think we did. We were like,
Gosh,
it needs something else.
There was a lot of live arranging, wasn't there?
This bit here. And Ben Phlox on sax, he's playing in this bit. And harmonium, right? Christian Lee is on harmonium.
Christian's on a couple, yeah. Big Ben.
Yeah.
Because you had originally not included this part of the lyric, right, in the song.
Yeah, you're right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's right, Jefferson was like, it needs something else.
We gotta talk about Jefferson's harmony writing process when this song finishes. It's very important.
It's denouement there.
What, Charlie?
Yeah.
Wait, what? You calling me Daniel Lenoir?
No, I said denouement.
I thought you said Daniel Lenoir.
En français. I was going français there. Denouement.
Tout français.
You calling me Daniel Lenoir?
You calling me Daniel?
Yeah, that may have been one of the live ones. I think it was the next one where there was some late night shirtless vocal overdub sessions.
Yeah.
On Jefferson's part and my part, maybe not.
Which is the next
obviously.
one? I don't have my copy in front of me right now.
Ringleader.
Ringleader.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Yeah, Jefferson's harmony writing process was one of the most memorable parts of the whole record for me. It happened several times. We were lucky enough to bear witness to the man, the myth, at 1 a.m. occasionally with a shirt on.
I
Occasionally
remember
on,
actually. I loved the like the tie thing around his head.
That's
Around
what I
the
was
head,
remembering
yeah.
yesterday. I was
Yeah,
laughing because I was listening to this really like very serious song with a serious lyric about a serious topic, and I was laughing as I was listening to it, and Sarah was like, "What are you laughing at?" And I was just remembering that moment of like Jefferson with his shirt around his head, singing the harmony, nailing it, of course.
That was a long time ago, and we were all a lot younger.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So much younger. Yeah, so there was an alter ego that would come out, and he had a name, as far as I remember. Telly.
What was it? Oh, Telly.
Oh, Telly.
Yeah, so it took, I don't know, typically until around 1 a.m. for Telly to make an appearance, but I think this all started when we got to New Hampshire. We drove up the 7 hours to the White Mountains from New York, and we are kind of making the plan for the following morning. And Hannah, I think you said, all right, what does everybody think? We get together, we have breakfast at 9, we start recording at 10. And Jefferson, I think you said, you want to make art at 10 a.m.?
It's funny, I just sent a very similar email to someone who wanted to have a music camp that began at 10 a.m. I said, who plays guitar at 10 a.m.?
It's true.
But you showed up. But the point is, Telly, the real, Jefferson, the alter ego, didn't come out until much later on. And your harmony writing, what I loved about it is that you were not afraid to sound ridiculous in the process of coming up with these lines. You would sing one note at a time, just like just working out one thing at a time, like practically screaming level in the live room, and we were all sitting there like, oh my god, what's happening? And then you would sing the line, and it was just beautiful.
Well,
Then he just nailed it.
We should listen to it. But I do remember if Ringleader is the next song, I remember kind of like booting you off of the computer at some point, so I could just like loop these little parts over and over again and try to find the part, because like I didn't
It's
know
not an
it
easy
ahead of
harmony
time.
part. It's also not an easy part.
No, it's not easy. Let's give it a listen. I'd love.
For that
to
reason,
remember.
I've actually never ever played this song live ever.
I'm sorry.
It's a hard song.
That wasn't the intended effect.
None of these Hannah melodies are particularly easy.
Climbing up the walls, eyes so wide they weep. He'll come down when he falls, he's scared to go to sleep. Turning till he trips, has been a ray of those who follow.
I like that phrase.
Hooked deep in their chest, and conscience he'll swallow.
Is that
folks.
Sarah on the third part?
I think it's just two
Is there
parts
Is that a
there.
three part there? Is Sarah in there?
I think it's just you.
That's just
I think it's
two.
just two, yeah.
I think.
It
We'll
sounds
see the
bigger
next
than
time we're
two,
in.
but I'm pretty sure it's just two. Transcribe
Actually, I
those
remember
lines.
Sarah did do something, though, didn't she?
She did a couple, but I
much like his own.
don't know about this one.
Had a neighbor steep, deep in his bones.
Maybe in the bridge or the breakdown, I think she doubles you.
The
Or,
old town with his head hung low. He's exactly the same as when I left long ago. Ringleader draws the weak, pulls them under.
Is it doubled? Is that harmony doubled?
Yeah, I think so. That's what it is.
That's what
I
it
love
is.
this part.
yes.
It's the big party moment on the record.
The
Yeah.
party part.
always love that we lift.
Yeah.
More Ben Flock's Pad Magic.
Charlie, what are some of the other sounds in there?
That was Ben's
was
tenor
Ben.
sax pads, yeah.
And a neighbor deep, deep in his bones.
I love that vocal delivery too.
He
On this
walked
repeat.
around this old town with his head hung low. He's exactly the same as when I left long
Oh, Jeff.
ago.
Oh,
That's good bass tone, Charlie.
Yeah, the
Appreciate
bass
it.
tone is great. I was thinking the same. I'm trying to mix some bass right now, and I'm like, man, that sounds better than my bass.
Well, you know,
I mean,
maybe you could just
it might
borrow
have something to do with you. But
who are you trying to mix?
Gotta just call Jeff, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. It's confidentiality.
I wouldn't want to know.
I love that that little window into the Hannah Reid lyric writing process as well. I think we were joking via text the other day that you said before this record started, I'm not going to be writing any new lyrics in the studio. Like
too stressful. Too stressful.
Too stressful, which you had done in the last record. You'd let a few little lines and verses get right up to the session, and you were like, I'm never doing that again. And of course, we get to Brenda's, and this was missing a last verse. This song, like there just wasn't a last verse for it, or whatever you had, we didn't like. And I think I suggested that you just repeat the previous verse.
And I was like, I can't do
lay it
that.
out.
Can't do that. I can't repeat the first verse again. Oh no, the
But
second
it
verse.
actually works really well.
But then
Sure
it
you
does
can.
work. Yeah, it's nice to hear it again and be like, all right, actually,
Yeah.
that was the right decision.
Because there's a lot of melodic content in between, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it doesn't seem like you're just repeating something you just heard.
Totally.
Right.
And both those songs were at Brenda's, right? Which for
Correct.
people watching at home, this is a huge barn, a new built barn in sort of north central New Hampshire, in the White Mountains of New Hampshire, with like 50-foot ceilings or something, right?
Yeah, it's a
Giant
2,000 square foot room.
open space. So a lot of that reverb that you can hear, like I know in like the electric guitar and all the acoustic instruments, that was all recorded in there, and it's just
It was live reverb, yeah, totally.
Yeah, there's
It's amazing.
almost
Amazing
no
space.
artificial reverb added to the recordings that we made in that space.
What a
You can really
cool
feel
thing!
the
What a
room.
rare experience now.
Yeah, seriously.
Absolutely. And we also the house, that space was reserved for house concerts, and there was no studio infrastructure, so we imported all of our own studio equipment. Large thanks to Jefferson for bringing your lusty old equipment up there. We
I have to say, I
built
can't.
out a shop.
I won't forget you rocking up in that little mini. Did you? Oh no! Wait. Did you have a mini? Am I just? Is that a random memory?
How
yeah.
did we get up there?
Didn't
Who
you have
drove
like
up
a
there?
funny little white mini? Weren't
You
driving
rented a
it?
car, Jefferson, and I think I drove the rest of us. Does that sound right?
I think you had a little white mini.
Jefferson drove by himself, yeah. Because I remember he and I went on a errand at some point. It was a mini. By that, do you mean like a Mini Cooper, like a car?
Yeah,
Mini car?
it's like a little Mini Cooper thing. Do you remember?
It was a rental. It must have been a rental. Maybe
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
there was some logistical puzzle to figure out, as always, except right now when we all just stay at home and don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But it involved renting a car, and I don't remember why that was the case, but that must explain the Mini. By the way,
Yeah.
I got a car like just 2 days ago.
Hey,
There.
Hey,
Yeah.
I got an
congrats.
escape plan from New York.
Yeah.
That's the first step, man.
I'll see you in Vermont, Charlie.
Nashville beckons, man.
That's right. I'll come visit.
He's
Although-
thinking north, Jeff.
All right,
I
guys.
go north for winter.
All right, sorry. Let's move on. Sorry, none of us have seen each other in a long time,
I know,
so this
this
is a
is-
reunion
this is
as well.
Yeah, this is very
Love it.
exciting. This next song features Jeff Picker on the upright bass guitar.
Jeff, what do you have to say about this one?
The music speaks for itself, you know. I remember that we were tracking this, and I had one note that was out of place in the harmony or something, and I was so focused on my intonation that I didn't pay attention to the note, and Jefferson pops up from the other room and goes, "There's a wrong note." And so then we fixed it. This was the second session. This was at the place in Upstate, right?
Yep, that's right.
He was not the one for me, and I not the one for him. But we danced around in circles, pushing and pulling in, taking trains to Beacon, skiing on the upstate slopes. We were better when we left here, but at home we couldn't cope. I'll still sing your praises when
great
we
chorus.
meet again in years to come.
Another classic Jefferson harmony.
Yeah.
A hard one.
It's a hard
it.
one.
It's all very high and very interval intense.
It's like all of the harmonies.
Love that.
I love that little lap steel, yeah.
Apart, put pressure on the days we spent together in the city, wishing
Alec Spiegelman.
which our lives wound round and round.
Every record has to have a Spiegelman cameo.
It's a requirement, yeah.
I still sing your praises when we meet.
Yeah, Alec came and did overdubs in New York.
I'll still
A couple of weeks after the session up on the Hudson.
Sounds about right. He's
Well,
so
legend.
musical. He just rolls in and plays the right thing on flutes and clarinets every time.
Oh, this part is lush.
I'll still sing your praises.
Oh, that was a chord sub.
Yeah, I love that.
I'll still sing your praises. When we met up that afternoon, when I let down my guard, I told you all the things that made these last few months so hard. My dad is in the hospital, I'd wish I'd had you there to call. You're no longer the one that I call home.
Jefferson, do you have any favorite lyric parodies of that chorus? I seem to recall that you were a prodigious talent with making up new words.
Oh, I don't know. It didn't. I don't remember what the ones that from the day were. No, I don't have any.
What was
Oh,
the
come
ones-
on. You got I'll tight in your braces. Was that one of them?
Yeah, well, I just said that one on a previous take. I didn't want to reuse it.
I know it's painful to say the same thing twice, but it was good enough to share with the people here.
He's being all shy now. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that
yeah.
there was a
Stage fright.
There's a direct relationship between the time of day and the raunchiness of the lyric parodies. It descended as it got later.
That might not be the only variable.
Right. Yeah.
Involved.
Well,
There
a
might
lot
be
of cross
other
currents
variables.
involved.
Oh, we had
It
lots
is-
of whiskey
that's
on
fair.
that
Oh, yeah.
session.
Whiskey was the spirit of choice, wasn't it? Those were the days, huh?
What kind of
Days-
whiskey?
This was the days when we drank alcohol.
No, I can't drink. I can't drink that much brown alcohol anymore. I feel like I've gotten old in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Only Scotch whiskey.
Of course.
Are you
Thematically
just
correct.
pandering to the crowd right now?
Yeah. Bourbon for life.
So the Edinburgh
Tennessee
Peaks.
whiskey for life. All right, let's move on.
Another beautiful Alex Spiegelman vibe here on the clarinets.
Yeah, this was in your kitchen, I remember.
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
just the woodwind overdubs.
Nicotine and wispy hair. A life of turmoil brought him there.
Now, was I playing a K, the K that was in the house for this one? I was trying to rack my brain if it was...
I think
Okay.
so, through one of Andy's car amps. Not this Andy Bell, but Andy Baldwin, my dear friend who had the studio upstate. I love the tone of the guitar.
Also, didn't the electricity go out during this tracking session?
That's right, we had a big
That's right,
storm
I forgot about that.
in the Catskills.
That was quite the drama.
I might have to tell the whole upstate story after a song getting into the house.
yeah.
I'll save that, yeah.
Just inspired by Jefferson sitting with his instruments, also with mine. I was going to say, it was a very similar instrument to this that I played, I think. I came back to the UK after that and I was like, I need one of those of my own, so I got one. And it's great, I love it. Perfect.
The bomber's clouds wouldn't pass.
Anna, do you want to tell the story behind these lyrics? Isn't it something specific from your life?
Alex,
This one is about when I was in Germany on tour the summer before we recorded it, and I just had this like amazing chat with this old guy, and he put on a house concert for the band I was touring with, and the next morning we just had this like probably like a 3-hour chat, and he just told me all sorts of stuff. And I was just really moved by his whole story. And so I remember getting in the tour van and just being like, oh, like writing down just like all these anecdotes, and yeah, amazing man.
Cool.
Love. I've not been in touch with him since, and I've not told him about this song. So maybe
Really?
maybe he's listening.
I like this part a lot. Forget this
And
part.
that's Sarah. Sarah joined on harmonies.
Oh yeah.
Sarah Jarose. Jarose.
Woo. Nice.
Sweet.
Tricky ending. Yeah, so I've got to tell the getting into Andy's house in upstate New York. We
Oh yeah.
That was.
so my dear friend Andy Baldwin is from Melbourne, and he was stuck in Australia waiting for a visa to go through before he could get back to the States. The original plan was that he would let us into his house and help us set up and give us the lay of the land and everything, but he was not in the country or even in the same hemisphere. And Hannah and I drove up first on a pretty wintry night. It was snowing.
With
getting
loads of
into-
food.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
Jeff. We had your bass in the back of my car. We had instruments and gear and quite a full load of stuff. And Andy,
Jefferson and I required that we just enter to a fully set up, fully stocked.
That was in the
kitchen
contract.
and- yeah,
Yeah.
you guys were. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
yeah, Scotch ice bucket have to be
Souffle
laid
in the
out
oven.
Yeah, totally.
for sure.
Souffle, the hardest possible thing to cook.
Beef Wellington and a souffle. Yeah. So Andy had warned me that the driveway might be a little slippery because he wasn't there and he didn't have anyone plow it. And it's a very steep driveway with a hairpin turn about halfway through. And as it's snowing, it's cold. It's February or something. It was, I don't know, maybe
January.
Celsius.
It was like the third week of January, I think.
Okay, so it was probably like minus
of winter.
15 Celsius or something. Like
It was freezing.
It was chilly.
It was really cold.
I see the first pitch of the driveway as we're getting close to the house. I'd been to the house a few times before, and I got worried as soon as I saw it because you could tell that it was just like covered in ice and it had been neglected for a few weeks while Andy was away. So I decided to get some momentum and make it up the first pitch of the driveway and stop before the big hairpin turn. So we Hannah and I, car full of gear, fishtail up the first half of the driveway. My car does not have 4-wheel drive, unfortunately. And I managed to like swing it across at the hairpin turn and stop on this little plateau. It's flat. That was flat. And there was no way that we were going to make it up the rest of the driveway. So we carried
with my bass in the car.
With your bass?
The scariest part.
It wasn't your crap bass, was it?
No, it was a nice one. The scariest part was still to follow when we had to carry the gear up the icy driveway the rest of the way.
Proper, really steep.
I was holding your bass and literally sliding backwards.
God, that's horrifying.
On this pitchy driveway. I was so terrified, but miraculous, like nothing got dropped. Everything was totally fine. We get to the lockbox at the back door and it was frozen shut. So here Hannah and I are in the car blasting the heat, and the lockbox is just like dripping water as it's thawing out, so we can try and get the key out of it.
And then Jefferson and I stroll in the next morning with our, in our robes of silk to our prepared eggs.
Yeah, we're like, when's breakfast ready?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that is so funny. I totally forgot about all the details of that. We kept our cool though, right?
Oh, it went great. Yeah, it was a beautiful house.
Anyway,
we got the wood stove going.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
What's the next?
Gamble. The single. Now all I can think of is you and sheep when I hear this. Thanks to the beautiful video.
Pull back the curtains and
I was looking at the liner notes for the album just now. And that's the house this is all about.
Oh, yeah.
Run back to shore now.
Nice, I've not seen this in a long time.
I don't think I think I maybe have one. I gotta go check it out.
I want the vinyl. I need the vinyl.
Well, speak to Andy about that. I've got a few in my storage unit in Brownsville if you want to go out there.
Brownsville.
It stands in front of our temporary home, tied on down by ropes that cling to stone. Sometimes it feels
This one's kind of like, this is like a,
all alone.
I don't know, it's got like a nice groovy thing to the lyric, or to the melody.
This is another wild Jefferson harmony. The number of people that have... You and Sarah's on this as well. That's the three-part.
This is the epic 3-part Sarah Jefferson harmony later in the last chorus.
Oh
my gosh.
Yeah, it's the bridgey part.
You're not going to find many people who can successfully execute that harmony part, especially.
I've tried it a few times.
Yeah.
This makes me nostalgic for a Scottish childhood that I never had.
Oh, Charlie.
Just like you running through the fields and the beach, baby Hannah, you can picture it.
It was all so perfect.
Winter's dark.
Definitely wasn't.
Under the eaves we stay.
Those epic strings.
We wash and wring our clothes with dry and salty air. Climb off the steep bank behind the house.
Vocals.
Ooh, that's the line.
Take the time.
I love the simmer down part.
She took a gamble.
There's Sarah.
Could have gone very wrong. Strong-minded, courageous, strong-minded, courageous. She took a gamble.
What's the wow?
Could have gone very wrong.
A lot of Mike Harlan lap steel in
Harlan.
here.
Lap steel.
Strong-minded, courageous.
Are you just playing acoustic on this, Jefferson?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. It's banging.
Getting jammy.
Get our Brit folk on.
Yeah, I was gonna say. That one's cool to me because it's like it's like a very groovy song, very rhythmic song, but it doesn't have like a groove. Really, it's like, what would a drummer?
I've tried it a few times and it's never really happening.
Yeah, it's like you gotta play.
Doesn't work with like a shuffle, that's for sure.
You gotta play a grooviness that's informed by the phrasing of the melody.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just
Very stretchy feeling.
Yeah.
Are there any drums on this record?
No.
No.
We tried a couple of little cymbal
wild.
overdubs and muted them.
What was that, Jefferson?
I just think it's wild that, you know, your producer is a great drummer. I mean, it's an obvious move, right? Hey, this could really, a few drums really glue this together, whatever, but not one track has drums on it. It's nice.
Well,
it's
know.
cool.
Yeah.
Admirable restraint, Charlie.
Yeah.
I think there is definitely a strong element of Hannah stating that up front as well, right? Like wanting to rely on the core trio as much as possible. Like, sure, we added some beautiful harmonies and woodwinds and lap steel, but like you three are the groove, the bedrock of the whole record, and it's very fun to me. It feels like it feels like a lot more of a high wire act than like tracking a record with drums to a click.
Yeah. I guess for me with that, like, I remember my record before that we did, Charlie, it was, every track was very much like there was a million different instruments, and it was like every track, I basically could only play maybe one of those by myself as a soloist. I couldn't play the rest of them. So with this record, I was like, okay, I want to be able to play all these songs by myself.
Yeah, or with one other person,
or with one other. Yeah, and they
something that you could conceivably play live, sustainably.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Rather than it starting massive and having to take it back, I quite liked it starting little and adding wee bits to it.
Yeah, totally.
This next song, "Way Out I'll Wander," the title cut, is, I think, my favorite example of just the three of you being amazing musicians and like floating and breathing together in a room.
This might be my favorite too, just because it's like episodic. It goes through the different things. And I remember, I have a really fond memory of tracking this one. This was like the middle of the first session or something. Yeah. And I don't know, I just like remember, I have like when I hear the song, I have a sense memory of it, like being there and,
Well, it started snowing when we were tracking it. And it started snowing, and it's the first line that I say, "It's snowing." And actually, last summer I sang that at a festival, and it was a beautiful sunny day, and I said it's snowing, and the sky just opened, and it was torrential rain. I was like, "Sorry, guys, should be singing about snow at this time of year." But yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember that. I remember exactly where I was sitting. That's probably, of all the songs, that's the most like vivid memory I have.
Yeah.
Recording.
Yeah. Love this thing. The pick with the two fingers. Yeah. It's great.
Classic moment. I remember when you figured that out, you were like,
yeah, like the little 4 chord there at the end.
54.
Oh, the bow. I forgot I used the bow on this part.
And Christian Lee piano magic here too.
Oh, and Christian Lee is on keys. Is he? Oh yeah. Yeah.
A bow overdub, I guess, because there's also bass in there too, right?
And Jefferson's on electric as well there. Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's snowing, losing myself as the wind goes circling round, dancing in clean air, it freely, holding my breath, grasp the window between thee.
This bit here is just like a hug.
Way out I wander beyond the fallen tree.
What a melody.
Live vocal, too.
Yeah, I remember that.
Bow down on my knees, kiss the ground, crying, nose deep in snow.
My favorite part.
Deep in the soil below.
You like that pronunciation of buried?
No, just the melody there. Like it changes.
Yeah, Jeff's favorite bit on the whole album is my pronunciation of buried.
I love your pronunciation of it.
Carved his
You never know what's going to resonate with people. You know what I'm saying?
lemon roll. We relive his memories, hung high on walls at home. Lost
That is
yeah,
one of
this is-
his pictures there. That's the song is about my grandpa.
last day
That's
of
hung high on walls at home.
Way out I wander beyond the
Little
fallen
pump organ.
trees,
Harmonium.
Yeah.
past the weathered top house, bow down on my knees.
Took us a while to figure out how to use that properly.
I remember.
Yeah.
Nose deep in snow.
A very twee instrument, but I like it here.
Very deep
We.
in soil
Twee.
below.
It's really
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, what a song. That was the one song I think on the record that I played anything. Do you catch my? You remember my little e-bowed guitar
Oh
things?
yeah,
Hen?
yeah. You wee ding thing.
Some of those little pads. There are no drums, but there's some.
E-bow.
There's some
Just-
Bon Iver e-bowed guitars.
E-bowed. So
You
E-bow,
just had to get in there. You just had
just
to
had
put
to-
yourself
yeah.
in there.
Had to make
Come
my
on,
stamp.
Charlie.
No, it was needing a little. I think we needed a little transitional glue or something, and we didn't want to pull too much focus with string pads, so we did a mellower, acoustic guitar string pad instead.
You're just trying to get that union double fee, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Time and a
that
half.
was it. That was it.
Gotta get my S1 or whatever the
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. What's next?
boots.
Aha. Boots. This is a sexy number. This is Hannah's raunchiest songs to date.
Hot in here.
Am I playing a Les Paul?
Leave
I don't remember which guitar you were playing on
I
this.
think it was on this.
at the end of my bed.
You didn't track this in the session, did you?
Not leaving.
We tracked it the day after you guys left. Is that right, Charlie?
Oh.
At Andy's upstate.
Yeah.
I don't mind your clothes all over my floor. This has never been the case.
He goes,
The way the light hits your
Did this record get the explicit rating on iTunes?
yeah, right. Parental advisory.
Strong
You
cheekbones.
get more sales that way.
Skin so fair.
in this moment, I want you to call me yours, but I've gotta keep a little something of my own.
Very 70s right
I
there.
lie awake before the
Yeah, I
dawn
keep a
is
little
wide
something.
open, but nothing's wrong.
I was listening to a lot of Feist at this time.
My
I
mind
just want to be like Feist.
controllably
This is as close as I'll ever get to
but too
Feist.
far.
She's way cooler than me.
Such a catchy chorus.
Me, feel me, kiss me when I'm done.
Sarah on BGVs.
Gosh, I love Sarah's line on this.
Love me freely, hold me in your arms when I'm back in town.
Yeah, beautiful. Ooh, Spiegelman.
Oh yeah.
So beautiful. Alex Spiegelman, for those of you who don't know, is playing the woodwinds, all the woodwinds, other than Ben Flux, who plays sax on a couple of the numbers, but he plays in a band called Cuddle Magic, who are totally amazing, Brooklyn-based bands, and he just plays with loads and loads of folk, and he's great. You work with him quite a lot, don't you, Jefferson? Different configurations.
Always.
Always, he's a legend.
Eyes wide open, but nothing's wrong.
I love the double.
The double vibe is good.
My mind is spinning uncontrollably. It seems so silly, but I'm too far alone. Impress me, feel me, kiss me when I'm done.
This one is one I think that could turn into a heater with drums and like a full like feisty production in an alternate universe.
Hold me in your arms
Good idea.
when I'm back.
I'll retrack it for the next one.
Could be like a mid-70s Joni vibe.
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
It'd be very fun.
That's really nice, Hannah. But now could you play more of the ones that Jeff and I are on?
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that.
Well, the last track is not going to let you down, Telly.
No, Telly is very prominent on this last one.
Telly is out in force on Campsie Ash. Man, there are some tasty licks coming up.
This was session 1, right?
This was
Yes.
session 1, and this you were out on fire on this one, Jefferson. I remember it was difficult to get that harmony. I didn't know. I was like, can you do a harmony on the chorus? But I had no idea what that harmony would be at all. So the harmony for one was a difficult one, but then I remember the bit where you kick in after the first chorus, those guitar licks that you play are so good. And just everybody listen out for that bit.
The electric part was an overdub, right? We tracked acoustics live, and then we did a late night telly session.
Late
in the
night
barn.
telly session. Yes.
You were on your knees for part of it.
You were on your knees. Quite
Of course.
literally.
Were the harmonies live? Was the singing live? Was my singing live with you, or did I overdub the harmonies?
I think they were overdubbed.
Lame.
Yeah, this was a matter of going to Comp City with that telly session and having too much to choose from. It was tough trying to get just the right little bits and not overdo it.
I don't envy you having to wade through that stuff, man. It's messy.
I mean, I'm always choosing as I go. Like, if we did 37 takes of the song,
we probably did.
I've got favorite bits that I'm pulling as we track it, but even still, if those were all played on top of one another, it would be chaotic.
Let's check it out.
This one was the first song I wrote for the album. I actually remember I wrote it in Boston. Do you remember, Charlie? And I was like, got to play this song. And I remember I played it for you and I was like, should I record this, do you think? And you were like, yeah, you got to record this. I want to record this. And that was years before, but there was a big space between this and you maybe don't remember that, but I remember
All
that.
the other stuff.
And then the rest of the other stuff was
I remember the lyric about you ending up in the field, like learning to drive a car. That's what I remember from that Boston hang, and whatever this was, like 2011 or something. What was that? I mean,
something like that. It's crazy. Long time ago.
Forever ago.
10 years
But
ago.
yeah, do you always write your albums in reverse chronological order?
Yeah. Also,
Last
the
track.
little thing.
She's like,
On if you see this on, some of you might know this song as Camsiash, because on Spotify it's CAMSEA, Camsiash, but it's actually Camp Siash. The P's on the thing. There was just a wee error there. So I don't know if that's going to change the song for some of you who've been listening to it for maybe a couple of years and have it as something else in your mind.
I thought that was just an Easter egg you left for your super fans to call out and get,
Yeah, well, I've just broken them. It's the special secret egg.
Oh yeah, all right, let's
Hold
hear
it.
it.
Yeah, let's get playing.
Two white pillars proudly stand through the wind, through the rain and the cold. The long tree-lined driveway where I first put my hand to the wheel. A romantic image, dare I say, I ended up in the field. And you can walk, but time will run away. Sweet memories hidden pictures till this day.
Yeah, Jeff.
The crooked door led you into the warmth. Found a place on the stone by the fire. We'll stay up late into the night, and sisters would retire. Ooh.
Right,
Love
that-
these sax pads. They're so
that bass.
toothy and rich.
But as we grew up, the times got hard. Scrimping and saving a little less in their jar. To travel to the place that we know, we must let go of what we know.
That's the wee George Harrison
Yeah,
moment.
totally.
Yeah.
You can walk the time you run away. Sweet memories hidden pictures till this day.
Well, five minor action in the house.
I love this whole lift. It just is like the only time on the record where we let
that-
ourselves
okay,
get carried
is that-
away.
Lap steel. With all the soaring stuff.
Yeah. Saxes and lap steel. As is this.
Oh yeah.
I did this overdub without you, Hannah. Mike just came over to my place,
I remember, yeah.
and I was like, we got a little crazy with this interlude. Hope you like it. You were like, what is this? And then you came around to it, I think.
I love how it turned out. It's very like Blake Millsy.
You can walk the time will run away.
This would be another anthem with drums, I think.
Sweet
Yeah.
It would change the nature of the song, but
stay.
Boom, boom.
I love that as a last cut on the record.
really good.
It really
Nice
makes,
record.
Oh,
Nice
thanks, guys.
record, Hannah.
You guys made that record.
I was
Well, thank.
That was nice. That was a nice trip down memory lane. I had kind of forgotten, how intricate some of that stuff is.
Did you come in fresh, or did you listen a little bit before this session?
Stone cold.
I listened to one or two songs last night, but the latter half of the record was fresh for me. So
Yeah, I've not listened to it in a while. Quite a while. What about you, Charlie? Do you listen to it every day?
Every other, yeah. I mean, it's only my second most played record on Spotify behind Wrapped in Lace.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, my
That's Hannah's
goodness.
other record, for those of you who didn't know that.
Well, thanks to Hudson Records and to Andy Bell for having us do this. This is such a great thing.